With 4 kids and the eldest being 6, one of the questions I get asked most often is, how do you do it? And I only have one word to answer that question, which is schedules. Yes, schedules have been a lifesaver for me. And if you watch my previous video, I was talking about the benefits of having a schedule in your home, especially if you have kids at this young age. So today I'm excited to introduce you the schedule that we've been using since my son was 6, and I'm very excited. Welcome. Welcome, my name is Suzy, and on this channel we're all about organizing, prioritizing and budgetizing at home. And we talk about things such as making your own yogurt at home, making your own fabric softener, how to clean and organize your home, and such things. And if you like such kind of content, consider subscribing to this channel, and we'd love to have you in our family. So the schedule that we've been using for our kids since, let's say, 6 years ago is the Gina Ford schedule. If you don't know about Gina Ford is a British lady who came up with this system of how to bring up kids, and it is so amazing. It has really made bringing up kids easy and effortless for us. So the thing about Gina Ford's schedule is she talks about how to go about taking care of your newborn. Basically, it's an hour-to-hour, week-by-week guide, and I find it to be so good because, especially when I got my firstborn, I had no idea what to do with this child, because you know, we taught so much in school, but we never really taught how to take care of kids. And so it was just, let me just say, it was stressful at first until I met Gina Ford and learned about her system. So she explains to you everything you need to know about your baby, what the baby needs from, let's say, from day one basically, and then she shows you how to put your baby on a schedule, because kids normally come with their own schedule. By the time they're born, this child has a schedule, and you'll find that sometimes the schedule means that your baby is asleep throughout the whole day and then they're awake throughout the night. So what Gina Ford does is she helps you to sort of transform this and to help your baby to be awake during the day and to start sleeping longer and longer in the night. In fact, you'll find that one of the crucial benefits of using Gina Ford is that kids sleep through the night at a very young age. Actually, my kids, from the time they were 6 months, they were sleeping from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and that was phenomenal for us, because you know, having a baby, sometimes all the sleepless nights, she really helps you to cope with that. Another thing I love about Gina Ford is that she explains to you what your baby needs at every stage of their infanthood. So she says that you start the schedule from the time the baby is about 1 month. Before they're 1 month, you basically just feed your baby on demand, let them sleep on demand, which is really good. But after that, she starts teaching you the stages and the steps that the child goes through and how much they need to be awake. For instance, she says that a baby who is that young should only be awake for a maximum of 2 hours. I did not know that. So you find that sometimes you would keep a baby awake for longer, and then by the time they get into 3 hours, the baby is so tired and they're cranky, and you have no idea why your baby is crying so much. So Gina Ford explains all these things to you. She'll explain to you how much milk the baby needs, especially if you're bottle feeding, which is another great benefit, because Gina Ford works for not only babies who are exclusively breastfed, but also babies who are bottle fed and babies who do both breastfeeding and bottle feeding. So it's really amazing. So let's say you're bottle feeding your baby, no shame, no judgment, it happens. So she explains to you how much milk your baby needs at each stage, which is something that you would never really have known. It's something that, for me, because I ended up giving my baby's formula, well, especially my firstborn, from the time he was 4 months. So I really didn't know how to go about it. The breastfeeding was not working for me with my firstborn. But she explains to you, like, a baby this age needs this many mLs of milk, this needs to be fed this many times, and it was really good for me. Another thing she explains also is just the baby's schedule. Like, this is the time the baby wakes up, then you do this to your baby hour by hour, week by week. It's phenomenal. Another benefit I would like to just highlight about using the Gina Ford system is that she teaches you things such as when the baby is going through a growth spurt. I had no idea what a growth spurt was until I read Gina Ford. So you'd realize that at about 6 weeks, the baby maybe is feeding more, the baby is more cranky, the baby is sleeping less, and you have no idea. You go like, no, I thought I already put this baby on a schedule, but it turns out your baby is actually going through a growth spurt. So Gina Ford will tell you at about 6 weeks, your baby will go through a growth spurt, and this is how you're going to handle it. Once the growth spurt is over, then she'll tell you, okay, now let's go back to the schedule that we were doing before. Then at about 12 weeks, the baby will go through another growth spurt, like that. So it's, I cannot say this enough. It's been amazing, and I really have appreciated using the Gina Ford system. Another amazing benefit about using the Gina Ford system is it helps you to learn not only to make time for your baby, but also to make time for yourself. Because your baby is put on a schedule, you know that she actually leaves a chunk of time for you once your baby is taking the nap, let's say for about 12 noon to 2 p.m. and she advises you as the new mom, this is the time to take your own nap as well. Because you know, one of the things that we struggle with as new moms is lack of enough sleep. So it's really amazing because she helps you to not only focus on your baby, but also to focus on yourself. Another amazing benefit is that when it comes to weaning, Gina Ford has got you. She will tell you exactly what foods to start with and why. You know, especially in the African setting, sometimes we just told you need to give the baby this, you need to give the baby this, because that's what it's always been done, but no one explains to you why. But Gina Ford will tell you, this is what you need to give the baby, and this is what it does for the baby. This is why you should not give your baby cow's milk at this point, because cow's milk has ABCD. This is why you should not give your baby pumpkin when they're 6 months, because pumpkin has ABCD, and this is how it affects your baby. Alternatively, when your baby is turning 6 months, they need to start getting animal proteins, because the iron they were born with is now depleted, and breast milk does not have iron. So you need to start, one of the things that the babies need to take as soon as their babies adjust to eating food is meat and chicken. I would never have guessed that that's food to start to introduce from around 7 months. So that's what I love about Gina Ford also, is that she not only helps you to go through the early stages of your baby's life, but also as the child goes, she'll transition you into weaning. This is what you do. And because of that, because of her weaning, let's say, advice, my kids eat well, they eat regularly, they eat nutritionally, and we don't struggle so much with when it comes to feeding time, and it's been really good. So that's another benefit. And then one more benefit I like about Gina Ford is she helps you to, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? She helps you to prepare for another baby. Because remember, you said one of the benefits of having a schedule is that you don't get so overwhelmed when you have one baby to the point where you don't even want to have another baby. Gina Ford will help you, so when you have your baby and your toddler, and you, in case you want to have another baby, she helps you to prepare your home, she helps you to prepare yourself and your toddler for the new baby. And then because you already have a schedule for your toddler, she helps you to integrate the new baby into the schedule that the toddler already has, so that your home and your family runs like this, like clockwork. Now, I know Gina Ford is not for everyone, because it depends on people's personalities. Some people don't like structured systems so much, but for us in our family, we have found the structure that Gina Ford brings has been amazing. Because even when I'm going back to work, when my maternity leave is over, I never really have to worry about, oh, what's the nanny doing with the baby and all that, because there's a schedule in place, the baby is already in the schedule, and I just have to teach the nanny how to implement the schedule, and it really goes well. So I want to show you the 3 books that have made the biggest difference for us as far as Gina Ford is concerned. Her first and original book was the one I already showed you, the New Contented Baby book. This is like the main book for Gina Ford. It's really really good, and I would highly suggest any mom, especially if you have a young baby or toddlers, or if you're expecting, this book is a life changer. It's really good. So this is where she teaches you everything, even what you need before your baby is born and why. For example, I had no idea that I needed blackout curtains for my kids, but now she explains to you that when you have blackout curtains, your baby will sleep better. Who knew? The other book I love about Gina Ford is the Contented Baby with Toddler book. This is also another life changer, because now when I got my firstborn, I was getting ready for the secondborn. This book really helps you to integrate the toddler and the baby and the schedules, and it's really, really good. Okay, then another book which now I had to get, because it turned out my secondborn was well, a set of twins. So, and you can imagine when you're just being told you're having twins, it's really overwhelming. But this book was amazing. She really helped me also to know how to keep up my milk supply. So with my twins, I was thankfully able to breastfeed EBF, exclusive breastfeeding, for 6 months. I had so much milk. Thank you, Gina Ford. God bless you wherever you are. And the last book about Gina Ford that really, really just helped us so much is this one. This is the Contented Baby Book for Winning. Contented Little Baby Book of Winning. Yes. Now, as you can see, this book is well read, because this one was amazing, because this is where she explains to you exactly what your baby needs to eat, at what age and why. And then to cap it all off, she has menus. I mean, she has recipes. She has a menu, and she also has a recipe, and she will explain to you how to cook great food for kids, for your baby, and also foods that you can cook for your baby and for the whole family, so that you're not always making different types of food. And also, one more thing I like about it is she explains to you how much milk your baby needs to be taking as they are weaning, because one of the problems I have found sometimes is that if a new mother does not know, sometimes we give our babies so much milk after they are weaned that they don't really have appetite for food. And then what happens is that this, taking a milk for babies, especially from a bottle, is really comforting. So you'll find that the baby is just drinking milk after they are past 6 months. So you find that majority of their nutrients is coming from milk, and that is not really advisable, because at that point they need to be getting other nutrients. Like I said, they need to be getting iron, which milk does not contain iron. So she advises the stages and the ways in which you will reduce the amount of milk your baby is taking, like month 7, month 8, like that, and then what you're replacing it with when it comes to the weaning food, so that by the time your baby is 1 year, they're only taking a certain amount of, they're getting most of their nutrients, let's say, from food and not from milk, which is really good, because your baby becomes really strong and healthy and gets all the nutrients that they need. So that's my amazing journey with Gina Ford so far. Our kids are now, as I said, 6, 4, 4, 2, and they still follow the Gina Ford schedule. But they still all wake up at 7. They still all take a nap from 12 to 2. They still all sleep at, now they don't sleep at 7 p.m. They sleep at 8 p.m. And it's been amazing. My kids, I thank God, because they really took to the schedule. So they really are quite literally contented and happy little babies. Oh, another thing about Gina Ford, before I forget, is kids who follow the Gina Ford system are less likely to suffer from colic. Yes, actually, well, my kids really, it was really good, because only one of the twins had a bit of I wouldn't even call it colic, because they were not crying so much, but they were crying a bit more. But yeah, we haven't struggled with colic, and Gina Ford really helped with that, because sometimes colic is caused by, as if your baby does not get enough rest during the day, because they're not following a schedule and all that. By the time evening comes, because you find colic usually happens from around 6 p.m. till around 10 p.m., that baby might be extremely exhausted, and sometimes that's what leads to to colic and all that. And then because you as a mom, as Gina Ford says, you've been busy and working, your milk supply by evening is not the same as it is in the morning. So you might even be trying to feed that baby, but because even your milk supply is not enough, your baby is not getting full, and now they are exhausted, so they end up just crying even more. So really having a schedule, and especially the Gina Ford schedule, has really helped us, and many other people. If you check online, you'll see the testimonials to avoid colic. Okay, so that's my journey with Gina Ford. I hope you have found this video to be helpful, and if it has, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Welcome to the family, and I will put a link in the description below of where you can get the books. As I said, if you're expecting twins, this would be a great one to have. If you're expecting a single baby, I would highly suggest that you get the 3 of these as a set, because they really complement each other. I'll put a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, and all that means is that I will get a small commission if you buy this book through my link, but it will not cost you any more than you would have paid already. Thank you, and congratulations on your babies or on your coming baby, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Thank you for watching.